Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley is brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions, your solution for all business social media needs. If you need a team of social media marketers and content creators to help you build your brand on social media, text Wes 2020 to 541-709-6502 today. Get started building your brand on social media. On today's show, Wes will be interviewing Heath Harmison, a successful comedian who currently lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's going to discuss who Heath is, how he is branding himself on social media, and what his definition of success is. Everybody enjoy the show. This is Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley.
So today, I'd like to introduce our guest here. This is Heath Harmison. He's a comedian that I know personally. Welcome to the show, Heath.
What up? How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
So with that, Heath, I want to start with who you are. Kind of talk to us about, your childhood, things like that. I know a lot about that, but I want to help people understand who you are and help you kind of get your name out there and help you, promote yourself, because I'm really inspired by what you do.
Okay, awesome. Well, first off, I'm originally from Twin Falls, Idaho. It's a small town. Well, not terribly small. We're not talking like Jerome, Idaho or anything. But Twin Falls, about about an hour and a half away from Boise, Idaho. Grew up there, and I was gonna be a nurse originally. I was gonna go to be a nurse, and I was at the College of Southern Idaho, getting ready to go into the nursing program, and then they decided to have an open mic at the college. It wasn't like a comedy open mic or anything, but it was just like a guys writing songs and poems to their girlfriends and stuff. And some guy asked I asked them if they had ever done stand-up comedy, and they're like, no, we've never done that before. So I was like, oh, well, I've always wanted to try. You mind if I do it? He's like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So next couple of days, just wrote a couple things down and asked him how much time he wanted me to do. He's like, whatever you want. I'm like, okay. So I ended up doing like 20 minutes my first time doing stand-up, which is a long time to do. But I was kind of hooked from there. Decided to change my career path, which is kind of a dramatic thing to do because I had just gotten married, and my in-laws thought I was going to be a nurse. My parents thought I was going to be a nurse, which was a respectable thing to do. So, helping people and doing stuff, which is awesome. Obviously, I still think I would be a nurse if I didn't find this new passion of mine. But yeah, throughout my childhood, I mean, even junior high school, I knew I wanted to, it kind of started as wanting to be a nurse anesthetist. I was going to go there, and then I was like, man, I think I'm too dumb for that. So, not that nurses are dumb. I don't want to say that. No, I just thought something that wasn't so, putting people to sleep in hopes that they wake up. I didn't want that pressure. So, so I decided that I'd go into nursing, and there's some different kinds of nursing you go into, but I decided I was going to do that. But then obviously comedy got into my life. I've always kind of been, not afraid to do anything. I'm actually a natural introvert, and most comedians are. So it's just like one of those things. It's like, people that knew me when I was a kid, like, man, I can't believe you're a comedian. Like, you just get on stage and do that. And you're just so, I guess the word is unassuming, I wasn't like the class clown in school, I was just the kind of, someone was like, hey, go ahead.
Have you ever taken one of those tests? Because like when I was in college, I had to take that test that said that you were an introvert or an extrovert, because I always thought myself as an introvert as well. But when I took that test, it was like way on the other side. So it's kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah, I did. And it pinned me as an introvert. Cause it's funny, cause
Okay.
I'll go to these parties, not part, I don't know, it's not like a party, but like, my wife and I will go to a Christmas party with friends and stuff, and I'm honestly the guy that kind of sits back and watches people, and I'm a little bit more quiet in large gatherings of people. But you get me around, maybe two other people, and I become more of an extrovert type, But
yeah, and that's
when I
that's
get
the
on,
same thing with me. I kind of feel the same way.
yeah,
The
when
fact
you
that
hit that stage,
it's
sorry, I forgot about the delay.
sorry, there's a little bit of delay. Yeah, it's all good. Like that's how I am too. I'm the same way. It's like you sit there and you get around two people that you really know, or some people you really know, and you're okay. But when you get around all those other people you don't know, you don't really want to talk to anyone else. You just want to get right into it. So yeah, I can understand that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I hit the stage, it's like a switch flips, and I just go into because I'm very high energy on stage. I'm not like, I don't
Oh
just
yeah.
sit there and talk into the mic. So, I've always enjoyed theater. I've always enjoyed acting and stuff like that as well. So I think it's almost like I go into a character within myself, right? I'm me, but I'm just like that higher elevated version of myself. So it's kind of interesting because it kind of takes me out of my comfort zone each and every time I get out on stage. It's comfortable, but it's like there's a little bit in me that it's always not really nervous, but maybe it's nervous energy, but it's energy I transform and put into the energy I put out on stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I mean, that makes a ton of sense to me because I see the same thing. I've got this, for me, I've been doing all these live videos now, and I'm just like, I would rather do a live one than, which is kind of what you do. It's a live show, but I would rather just put it out there and let it go. And it's like a totally different energy when you do that. So that was this whole nursing thing. When I met you, I was working at Les Schwab, and you were working for I don't know if I can say their name or not, but a linen company, and it was kind of crazy. And that's what kind of inspires me, is the fact that you went from working there, and it's kind of the same thing that I did. It's really hard to break that. Hey, this is something that's consistent. This is something that gives me a paycheck every day, to follow your heart and do what you really want. So that's kind of inspiring. You got to that point. Where does this all happen in that story where I met you, and where you went from there?
Well, as you know, I was an amazing linen driver. Okay, I got things done. But what's interesting is I came in one day, and well, here's kind of what happened. Actually, it's funny because this kind of comes full circle with Les Schwab. I had my grandpa had died, right? So I had to take a couple of days off. Found this out, and I took a couple of days off. And I found this out as I was at work, right? I was at work. I find out on the phone my grandpa's died. So I call my boss. I'm like, hey, man, just found out my grandfather died. He's like, all right, well, just get your stuff done, come in, and, get out of here, basically. So I go, I get to the depot, unload my truck, do all that stuff. And I had a couple of shirts with missing buttons. As you know, that happens.
Oh yeah.
And they were Les Schwab shirts. Actually, there are a couple of Les Schwab shirts with missing buttons. And when we go through this process of getting those fixed, you got to put a tag on them, you got to write some stuff down, you got to put them back. Anyway, it's not a long process, but when the state I was in to get out of there, I was like, you know what? It's 2 shirts. It's no big deal. I'll deal with it when I get back in a couple days, right? You guys get like tons of shirts and pants and all this stuff. So I was like, these 2 different guys can deal with missing one shirt for a couple days if they don't. Anyways, I put those in a part of my truck and didn't deal with that. So I guess the regional manager of the company, or in my area, did my route for those couple days, found those bags, and thought that was unacceptable. And I come back to work, regular day. pretty much almost done with my route, and I get a call from my boss. He calls me to the office and proceeds to let me go, and said that this kind of behavior was unacceptable. And I was shocked. I even laughed at him. I was like, wait, you're joking, right? He's like, no, I'm not joking. I'm like, wow. Like, I was like, oh, by the way, just got employee of the month before, just so you know. And they lost 2 huge accounts because I was gone. Like, I was a good employee. That's the thing, is like, if I didn't do well, then I'll take that on. I'm that kind of person. Like, if I'm just like not into the job, if I'm not doing the job, I'll be like, you know what? I wasn't happy there. I'll be honest. I wasn't happy driving around dealing with other people's laundry. So it was, in the moment, kind of the worst thing that could ever happen to me, because I had a wife, 2 kids. I mean, I had benefits. It was good pay. It was, in a sense, a good job, right? I wasn't happy there.
Right.
But I go home. I go home that day, right after left that office, went right home, walk in the door, and I'm crying. Like, I'm just like, because I'm at a loss. It was during a recession. There's no good jobs out there that were going to pay what I was making, and no benefits, stuff like that. So I'm telling my wife, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. And at this time, I've been doing stand up for a good 4 or 5 years, kind of building some contacts and stuff like that. It was just at a point where I had something to work off of, basically. Not a lot, but a little bit. And my wife, she's like, I've seen you do what you do on stage. You got a gift. Now's the time. Just do it. And if you know anything about this type of business, it is difficult. It is hard. And for my wife to want me to go after something like that, needing to provide for them, like, that was huge. If it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be here. I really wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I probably would have found some job, somewhere, and just continued being unhappy, really, because I wasn't happy with the job. I was just happy with the paycheck.
And that's
now,
I was just going to say, that's one of the things that I really like. I look back through, we started messaging on Facebook again, and I look back through there, and the last time I had talked to you was when you gave me some tickets to your show when you were at Liquid Laughs. And I've always noticed, like, all your marketing and things like that on Facebook. Your wife has always been supportive. I love listening to your guys' podcast, because it's just a banter back and forth talking about how life goes in general. There's so many good things that come from it that you've pushed out there to do. And without support, my wife's the same way. She's supporting me. I obviously have this other job that I do during the day, and this is kind of what I do for happiness and for, the things that I do, and I'm transitioning into that. So it's awesome to have that kind of support. And you see that with everything that you do, everything that I see, it's great that you have that.
Yeah, it's everything. It really is. It's everything. It's without the support, it makes it a lot more difficult. I have kind of a leg up on some of these other guys that, they're single, and they're living with 5 other people trying to make it in this business. And it's difficult when you're not living with your friends, you're living with your competition. Like, that's what's happening, especially in places like LA. I got a buddy, literally, his room is a closet. It is like a closet, like a door. There's things to hang up. And he has a bed in there. He pays like, I think he said like $400 a month to live in a closet. Like, I'm like, are you insane? Like, that is crazy. Like, that's a whole nother level that I've never experienced. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I do have the support system at home, which is such a big thing. If your significant other or whatever doesn't support your dream, it makes it really difficult in both the relationship and the business that you're trying to get into.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. I'm glad that she supports you. One of the things that we talk about on here a lot is that I do a lot of marketing for myself, trying to get myself out there as a motivational speaker, just like I've watched you do. I think that you have a great story, as I said before, because I think that I'm watching you kind of grow through this thing over the past, I think I've probably known you. We don't talk every day or whatever, but I've known you for probably about 10, 13 years here. And it's just been awesome to watch that happen. How do you go about that? Because I watch, like, you're on a bunch of different platforms. I don't know if you've seen what I've done, but it's pretty crazy the amount of time I spend promoting myself. What do you do to promote yourself, other than, I know you have a website and all those different avenues, but what's your main way to promote yourself?
Honestly, like, for me, it's trying to find what's going to be creative in my element of things, right? So I'm a comedian. I got to come up with either funny things or things that people are going to gravitate toward my comedy with. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now TikTok. My daughter got me on that one. But it's like, you got to find whatever business you're in, whether it's motivational speaking, theater, comedy, you invented something, whatever it is, your product is. The thing about us is we are the product, right? I'm my own product. I believe in what I am, right? I believe I have value. And so what I put out is things that are, try to be exciting, things that mean something to me, and hopefully they mean something to other people. And what I found is that people you'll find your people, basically. Not everybody's going to care about what I do, but the right people will. Whatever message that you're trying to put out are and the people that gravitate toward you in that way, like those are the people that are gonna find you. Your audience kind of finds you. You put yourself out there. There's algorithms and all sorts of stuff with, and honestly, I don't know much about the algorithm stuff. There's people out there that literally make a living, that know how to get followers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things. And you can pay those people to do that. And what you want to do is find not just followers. You want organic followers. You want people that actually care about what you're doing. You don't just want to find a bunch of, there's a lot of people with a lot of followers, but most of them don't care about what they're doing. The ones that are like seriously blown up, like they found their niche, they found their people. And one of my buddies, another comic, he was telling me about his Instagram followers, because he's got something, what is it, like 500,000 followers or something like that on Instagram. And he made a video one day, and it just, some celebrity shared it, and then boom, next thing you know, he's got followers like crazy. Now, call it luck, whatever. Part of it is luck, and part of it's talent. The guy's funny, and he does funny videos and whatever. But he's like, I was talking with him. He's like, as soon as I stop making any sort of content, as soon as I let up, I start losing followers. So it's a job. You know what I mean? When you're marketing yourself, like you said, you got to spend time. And that's a whole nother side of the job of what we do that is difficult. And a lot of things I'm still trying to figure out myself. I'm trying to figure out that main thing that's going to get all those organic followers that I want. I blew up more on Facebook, but apparently I'm told by my children that Facebook's for old people. I didn't realize I was there yet. But Facebook is for the old people, Dad. That's why my daughter got me on TikTok, which is interesting. Did a couple videos on there, and honestly, I'm at 13,000 followers in like a month or something like that, which is, not too crazy, but it's pretty good for, just starting out. And honestly, I kind of let up on the videos for a little bit, but anyways, I think marketing, there's so many different ways to do it. I myself want to put out my content. I want to put out who I am and what I'm about. So I'll put out, I got my dry bar comedy special. I mean, that has over 30 million views at this point. And it really blew up on Facebook. And they're actually moving into other avenues. The dry bar special people or VidAngel are moving into, they're actually on TikTok now, and they're doing, Instagram stuff, and they're kind of promoting me, without me having to do much that way.
Well, and that's the thing that I think
yeah.
that we have to get to the point where I think that's where the point that you have to get to is that you have put in the work. And so people have helped you along the way because they see that you have value. And it's great that you put yourself out there. And it's like you said, the minute you stop, you lose followers, and you're putting out this product. It's so funny. And I've seen these bits. It's like, you're out in the candy. That is the funniest I've ever heard, like your Gollum thing where she turns into Gollum and the wheelchair, Walmart. I mean, I know. And you just give off this, like you said, it's not you're just very active and very energetic in what you do. And that's what sells it.
Yeah.
I think it's just awesome.
Well, and what's awesome about the wheelchair bit is that ended up, that wasn't even one of my most popular ones, but it still got over 1 million views. I mean, now it's sitting at, I don't even know. It's probably in like the 7 to 8 million view range. But the guy because I just heard this on the radio, right? I heard about this guy who saved this girl from being kidnapped at Walmart, and he saved her, and he was the guy that saved her was in a wheelchair. And the way they said it in the news, like the news article thing, was the guy in the wheelchair tackled the guy. So I'm like, how did this even happen? How does the guy in a wheelchair tackle somebody? So I replay the whole situation, right? So it's very physical. You've seen it. My head looks like it's snapped back. And then I do the whole e-brake thing. He comes flying out of the chair, hits the guy, saves the girl, right? So he's a hero. And that's the thing is I make him, he is the hero. He really is a hero. And it's a true story. And so the guy, I didn't know the guy. And he saw the bit and contacted me on Facebook. He's like, hey, you have a joke about me. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. And he sent me the actual news video of him and then him being interviewed and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, and he sees this video and he's like, man, I've never laughed or been as flattered in my whole life. He's like, and at this point it's just over 1 million views. He's like, I can't believe something about me has gone viral like this, and I'm just like, hey man, I'm just glad you like it. So because what's funny is that there would be people that would get offended, and honestly, when you have over 1 million views on something like that, there's people that come at you, and you get people that they were losing their crap on me sometimes. Some of them were really losing it, and and so the funny thing is the people that got offended were the people that aren't in wheelchairs or don't know people in wheelchairs or something like that. It's always them. It's the people in the wheelchairs that love it the most. They love this stuff, so it's just it's so funny. Like when I would be doing it, because I don't do that bit anymore because I physically can't, because the whole neck thing, I got neck problems. So but anyways, yeah. It's been cool experience to see how it's affecting people. Honestly, both kind of mostly obviously in the positive way. I kind of have to laugh at the people that get offended about it, because I have this whole Meredith thing. We have a podcast based on it now. That was the one that got the most attention on my special, was the Shut Up Meredith thing. Meredith represents the extremes that we live with on the planet, right? They get upset about ridiculous things. They make everything about them. And, and so we just have all these different episodes about different kinds of Merediths out there, so that podcast is a lot of fun. I get to do it with my wife. Like I said, she's great. She reins me in is what happens. So,
well, I have one last question for you. We're running out of time here, but I just want to make sure that we're cognizant of that. But, the last question that I have is, like I said, you inspire me, and I think one of the things that's inspiring about that, and that led me to want to have you on the show, is that you've done all these things to better yourself, and you've followed your dreams, and that's what sets you apart. And so, my definition of success for me is helping other people succeed. That's kind of why I've gone into what I'm doing. So what I wanted to kind of know is, how do you define success? Because the name of the podcast is Shaping Success, and it's basically, what is the shape of your success? Because it's different for everybody. So how do you feel that you define your success?
To me, success is, and that definition has kind of changed over time for me. Success for me was, at one point, I would be driving on that linen truck, dreaming of just being on the road, driving to the next gig. No matter if I was making $200, $300 to drive 12 hours, at least I was living on my terms, and I think that part of success is kind of the basis. It's living life on your own terms. It's living life the way you want to live it and doing what you want to be doing, while being happy. And a lot of people have so many different ways of looking at success. Either it's money. Money does help. It is nice to have money, but really, you hear that expression, money doesn't bring happiness, right? And in a sense, that's true.
Yeah.
If you don't have people to share your life with that way, then money really doesn't matter. If you have, the success are all the people that are in your life, right? The people that you get to share with, and it's all about living your passion. Find what your passion is, and find a way to make money doing it. That's what I think success is. And if you don't know what your passion is, dig deep and find out what it is, so that you can get there and do what you love.
Well, I think that's exactly how I look at it too. It's find what you love, and then the money will come.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you for being on the podcast. I was wondering, one of the things I like to do is, where can we find you? I want to make sure that everyone knows, what platforms you're on, what your handles are, and things like that, so everyone can find you, so they can follow you and support you in whatever you plan on doing.
Really, it's easy. Heath Harmison, and not Keith. As you're watching this, you're seeing the actual Heath. I know a lot of times people, I'll tell them my first name, like, oh, Keith. I'm like, no, it's Heath. By the way, all the Heaths hate the Keiths, by the way. So if your name is Keith, you can suck it. No, but so find me at heathharmison.com. All my handles on all my other things, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it's all Heath Harmison. Also, please check out the Shut Up Meredith podcast. Me and my wife, we do this. We're on all the podcast platforms. We're actually going to work on starting to do some more video podcasting soon. Right now it's all audio, but any podcasting platform that you listen to your podcast on, we're on it. So check out the Shut Up Meredith podcast. It's a lot of fun, pretty lighthearted, and we just have a lot of fun on there. So there's some great guests, and it's a good time. So, and you can check out my website.
Yeah, I've been listening to your podcast for a while.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I contacted you. You were the one who helped me get it going in the first place, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that people call you Keith sometimes. My little brother's name is Heath as well, so I've been through that whole deal. I hear that all the time, but I wish you nothing but luck, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, thank you. Awesome, man. Thank you. And let your brother know that there is a Heath support group on Facebook. So just a bunch of Heaths talking all the crap about the Keiths. So it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. And I really appreciate everything that you do. And I wish you nothing but luck. I hope to see you soon here in Boise again. So
thank you, man. And good luck with you as well.
This was Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley, brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions. If you need a team of marketers to help you with social media, all you need to do to start is text Wes 2020 to 541-709-6502. 541-709-6502. That is Aggressive Marketing Solutions. Have a great day. See you next time.